Okay. So the thing is that I'm standing in the way of you getting to the beer. So I am going to be very quick and make this a lightning talk. My name is Jolley, and I'm part of the ZANOG team, a volunteer at ZANOG. And I see what everybody means about hitting the button. You've got to hit it hard. So, who's a NOG virgin? Who's never been to a network operator group meeting? You all have. So you all know what a NOG is. And there's one person there, fantastic. This is a NOG, right? This is a network operator group meeting. We get together, we share technical ideas, we learn from each other to build a better internet. So what do we do as ZANOG? We organize events like this conference, training, we run mailing lists, Telegram groups. Max mentioned that he started the Discuss group, and he's really keen for somebody to ask him why he started it. So please go ask him. We also have the website running. Then we have the CDN project, and also run community network services and tools. Who knows about the ZANOG CDN project? Okay, so who doesn't know about it? Just checking that everyone's awake. Right, so I'm not going to go into this, but very, very basically, I live in Durban. We're a poor cousin to Joburg. We never get any love there. CDNs don't like to deploy there, although they are slowly coming. So the idea is that we would embed CDN caches into an AS and serve all the local ISPs so that it would save money. And so how does it actually work, the CDN project? Well, it does rely on good people to volunteer their time, sponsorship of Cashful, rack space, power, and we also got donations to get the money for an AS because, you know, Afrinic and their fees. And we then approached CDNs, and we still are adding to that slowly. But really, what's important about this is you have to set up bilateral sessions with ZANOG in order to get that content. So as I said, the community services that we offer are the CDNs. We have Microtech B test server running so that those people that are connected to the exchange point can use that. Microsoft connected caches. I'll punt this one and say I've got a great story about the Microsoft connected cache. Come ask me about it. And then NTP servers. So what's new? So that's what this is about, right? We deployed in PE and connected to NIMBINX, Nelson Mandela Bay Internet Exchange Point. We took one of the OCAs from Durban and we put that into service there, and a Microsoft connected cache. Very recently, Ed has been working hard and getting additional hardware, and so we are planning on spinning up services, and I'll get a little bit into that in the next couple of slides. So then we got a new CDN in Cape Town in the Durban cluster, the Steam cache, which has been performing very well. So I think I actually have to, thanks to sponsors, you see them here, for making events possible. Also in the background, there's a continual sponsorship of Rackspace, Power, Cashful, And thanks to the volunteers that spend a lot of time. Ed, you spend so much time, on this. So, yeah, thanks very much. And then we've just put up a link for donations for Cashful, hardware, and those sorts of things. So what's next? When I was doing these slides, the server was on its way to Durban. It arrived super quick and was put in and is in production. As I mentioned, we're getting additional servers and compute. And the idea of that is so that we can offer more services to the community. But the important thing here is that we spin up services that the community find useful. It's pointless us saying, well, let's host a Wikipedia what do you call it, node or whatever the case is, when, well, actually, no, we don't really need that. So ideas are iPerf server, Jitsi video bridge, Mastodon server, but it's actually up to you. And then we're going to carry on with our regional events. We had one last month in Gauteng, and we'll have one next month in Durban. And I think the idea is that we also would like to do some training before those regional events. Those regional events are usually just evening talks and drinks. So everything moving forward actually depends on the community. So I know that we all want to get out of here, but we need input from you. And one of the things that at the last GPNOG, Nichelle stood up and he said, we need ideas for training. Who needs training? And there wasn't a huge amount of feedback on it. So what I want to ask now is some ideas on how we move forward with this community and things that you would like to see happen. So do you think we should be not worrying about training, or if we do, what topics? Should we be having more events, less events? What services? If we can just maybe have 5 minutes chatting about it, and then we can continue to chat about it over milk and cookies.
You guys are amazing. Don, Ed, Nichelle. I mean, those are the only ones that I know. I know it's a thankless job. I know you don't get paid for it, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You've really taken over a lot of the space where ISOC ZA was pretty much trying to fill, and we lost momentum, and you guys came in with full speed momentum. And you've made a huge difference to our community. There's no doubt about it. You've created a community, you've created interest, you drive interest. So thank you so much. You're doing great. Don't worry too much about this stuff. It's amazing. So I think we need basic training, like basic networking, the prerequisites for any networking course. Why to route a /29 rather than 2/30s? You know, they don't teach that in the basic training of Micritic or Cisco or Juniper. I know that we used to have some basic training by Afrinic. Mukum used to come. Nichelle knows how to do it. He's done it many times before. I've been in those IP training sessions, the basic ones, which include like some basic Unix as well, because we've got people that don't know Unix. So you're getting onto the command line. And I've got people that we can send, and I'll fill up those trainings, and I'm prepared to volunteer to help you guys out on that as well. I believe it's very important. We've put DNS training back onto the map, and that seems to be happening annually, and I'm assisting to make sure that happens annually in Cape Town. Mark Elkins and Johan Uren do that. So I'm hoping for number training as well. We've got names going. Okay, basic number.
Okay.
How to use the numbers. And that'll also have some basics on IPv6, obviously, as well. Question, I know it's a secret, and we're not allowed to talk about it. The Google CDN. Does anybody, I mean...
For Cape Town.
Yeah, Cape Town.
Yeah, so there's two challenges with that. I think the first one is the cache flow requirements for a Google cache are quite high. When you look at the likes of Apple and Steam, their ratios are fairly good, but Google is not. It's still relatively good. You know, it's I think 1 to 3. So that it is quite bandwidth intensive. So we would need to figure out how to make that sustainable in terms of the cache flow. And then the other one is actually getting a buy-in from Google, because they seem to be falling off the map in terms of actually being helpful.
Hello, this is Arden from ZANOG Group. I think automation training, like those previously delivered, would be more tailored for, especially myself. And VM, like virtual machine, working, how you can integrate that with networking, would be a nice training topic, I think.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much. So yeah, you know about that training. I hope you've registered for it for. Yeah. Thursday. Yeah. All right. So I think, please come chat to Ed or myself about ideas that you have, services that you feel that we should be spinning up, and we would like to have some tech volunteers to help us manage that as well. Yes, Nichelle.
Hi, my name is Nichelle. I have a ZANOG hat too, as one of the background people that has to write all the documentation for funding, it seems. I want to comment on something that Alan said. He's right. I've been to his facility, his training center in Cape Town. He was very kind to host us many times over the years. We've done training there. I do actually know how to subnet, even in my head, and I'm pretty certain I can teach most people how to do that. The thing is, I don't want to do it anymore. Because I'm going to be 25 next year. And that's like a quarter of a century, right? I'm old. So there needs to be other folks that want to come do it. I'm looking at this room, and maybe it's just the old-timers that didn't have the energy to get up and leave that's here. But there are no kids here, right? There's one child, that's here. But where are the rest of us? I mean, what are we doing to bring younger folks in and to teach the younger folks the things that they need to be doing so that we can get them in to teach IPv6 a long time ago? I don't ever want to teach an IPv6 course again in my life. That's how sick I am of teaching IPv6. But I'm very happy to spend time to teach younger folk who are willing to teach IPv6 to the, Alan's grandchildren or whoever's going to come next. But that's what we need here. So for those of you that are business owners, for those of you that are, you own your business, you see levels or whatever in your business, where's the young guys? Why are they not at these events? Is there some secret code where you think that iWeek or ZANOG is only if you hit like engineer level 3? Is that a thing?
They became programmers, it's more sexy.
Is it that they're all just busy writing apps and they want to push something to go yo and make $1 million or something?
Yes.
Right? Because, and if that's real, then if that's real, then part of what we need to be doing is rethinking how we're bringing people into the industry. And let me remind you about this. You're all invested in whatever, I'm sorry, I'm not intentionally showing you my backside, But you're all heavily invested in whatever you decide to do here. Because the young people that are going to get trained are people that you're going to look for your employment force. So when Donald says, what do you want a future NOG to be? It's not just, hey guys, next year what version of whiskey do you want? It's, how do you see yourself getting talent? Because you're up against, like the keynote said this morning, for those of you that were awake, the keynote said you're up against the fangs of the world who are stealing all of the folk that you have. What's your plan to replenish these skills? You don't have a plan? Well, yeah, I know you're Cape Town, Slapstad. That means sleepy town for the non-Afrikaans people, I think. But what's your plan to get new folk? Is it secret? You don't want to tell us? If it's secret, that's fine. I'll go back to my seat. But I don't need to work at an ISP anymore. I've paid my penance. I've done that already. How are you going to get new kids in?
Sean?
Make me walk so far so late in the day. Sure. Sean from the internet for this conversation. I chaired a panel in November at ZAPF on this exact topic. And I've thought about it a lot since then. I've also got 2 teenagers going into the workforce and trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. My oldest one has decided developing and writing code is far more fun than network engineering. I think part of the problem for any younger people coming to an event like this is the demographic is just older. The way to solve that is, unfortunately, just get more young people here. So as Michelle says, if we have younger people who work in organizations, they need to be encouraged to attend events like this. But I think in addition to events like this, having and information and data, and as Alan says, like how to configure routers, how to choose subnets, basic things. I mean, people who not even just want to come in and work for an ISP, but anybody trying to start an ISP who may have network experience from being in tech support or whatever, there's a lot of nuances in running an ISP, like we found out when we started 10, 12 years ago, that just isn't available. Like this information isn't there unless you can get to a training day, which not everybody can. And I think building something where that training data lives, where people can work through that information, will be massively helpful in allowing youngsters to access it, and by the time they attend an event like this, they know what a /30 is. So a lot of people rock up here and go like, I didn't even know what that is. I want to be a network engineer. But a lot of the talks too are very, very technical. So I think it's beneficial to, I know for those of us who've been around the block for a couple of years, a very basic, straightforward 101 talk might be very boring, but maybe that's in a breakaway room somewhere like networking 101 or peering 101 or whatever. But anybody who's new to the industry, anybody who's worked in the industry less than 12 months or 36 months should be attending those kind of talks, which are often missing at events like this.
Thanks, Sean. I think we're going to close it off there because Ed's getting thirsty. Oh, Ed wants to say something. It's fine. It's on you now.
Hi, I'm Ed De Lange. I'm Chief Bottle Washer for NOG. So just the one thing that Donald didn't quite touch much on, but we get sponsors for lots of things for ZANOG. This event is a good example because that board is full of great people who chuck money at us to do things like this. Because people forget actually how expensive it is to run these events. Because, well, food's expensive, beer's expensive, everything goes on. But a lot of the other things we do, we get support from people to do the smaller projects and sort of running thing. So I was asked, on the NOG mailing list or Telegram group a couple of weeks ago, I asked if anyone had spare 2.5-inch drives for some of our servers. A whole bunch of people came and said like, sure, here's 2.5-inch drives. We've got some sitting on the shelf. Someone ordered some in and just said, where can I courier it to? It came straight from the warehouse to us. It's great for support like that. But people also asked, can other people support us in smaller ways? Because not everyone has drives floating around, or in some cases 100,000 rand to chuck at an event. So that's why we did that sponsors link that Donald had earlier on. So if someone wants to give $100 to supporting this, they can go and do $100 monthly or whatever. So it helps us a lot to deal with some of the smaller stuff rather than having to, okay, we want to buy a drive, now let's find someone to buy us a drive. It just greases the wheels a bit easier, and that doesn't go to anyone's pocket, that always goes into something community. So yeah, if anyone wants to consider that, the link is on the website, and every bit really helps. And if your company wants to sponsor some events, our regional events cost us about 20,000 Rand to host per event, so if anyone wants to sponsor one of those or part of those, please reach out to us as well. Thank you very much.
All right, so I think that is the end of day one, and cocktails in the courtyard. Thank you very much.